Welcome parents to our parent information session. We're very happy that you have joined us today. My name is Julia Gomez and my coworker Laura Rios is also joining us and other staff members.
Hi, welcome all parents.
So what is Parent University? Parent University is here to provide support to our parents in different ways. For an example, the topics we have had in the past are financial freedom, when is the best time to purchase a home, conscious discipline, what's the correct way to discipline my child, learning about dyslexia, how do I know if my child has dyslexia, what are the signs, Concilio, 9-week PACE program, parents advocating for students' excellence. Our Parent University was established for parents. If anyone has a topic or an organization that you would like to hear about during a future Parent University event, please send us an email to the address listed on our screen.
Hi parents, my name is Laura Rios. I'm student recruitment specialist with Trinity Basin Preparatory, and I am also part of the Parent University together with Ms. Gomez. Today's agenda. We're going to be providing and answering a lot of questions that you may have. Our first day of school is next week, so we are very excited to see all of our Titans, and we pretty much want to be able to answer questions that you have. We have a lot of our leaders here in this session today. We have Ms. Austin, Chief Academic Officer, who's going to be able to answer a lot of your questions as far as important dates, at-home learning, in-person learning, school uniforms, school supplies, etc. So we're going to go ahead and start with Dr. Leslie Austin, who is our Chief Academic Officer.
Hello, parents. It's so awesome to see everyone. I think we just now, when I glanced, we're at 79 participants. I know this is extremely important and you want to find out what's going on here at TBP. So thank you for joining us today in this Zoom meeting. We all have become Zoom experts over the last few months. So thanks for joining us. I'd like to first start with some of the most important dates that I know that you guys have been waiting for. So today, August 5th and August 6th, we're going to be doing our parent Q&As. And you guys have had lots of questions come in over the last few days. What I wanted to let you guys know is, I believe the host muted myself or someone is, can everybody still hear me? All right, because it said I was muted for a second. Hopefully you heard me. What I wanted everybody to know today is it was a very exciting day here at TBP. All of our teachers came back from their summer break. And so a lot of information is going to really start coming out from our campuses to our parents. And that was our first day back today. We're doing our Q&A with our parents to answer those questions for you. By August 10th and 11th, we'll have our rollout of any new students who need Chromebooks or iPads. If you need to switch them out because some of our students have gotten to an older grade and they need to get Chromebooks, and you're going to hear more from Dylan Laney, our technology, we're going to call him technology director. He has a really wonderful title, but a lot of our campuses are going to be starting getting their devices throughout this week and next. So make sure that you're on your remind from your campuses, because I've been seeing those go out today about device pickup for specific campuses. On August 12th, another one of my most favorite days is the first day of school. It looks very different this year because we would like to start all of our students in the at-home learning model. And so what that means is that we're going to ask for your student to start at home. And you know that there's several reasons for that. So we're going to try to start at home with all of our students all the way up into September 8th. So the next important date is we're going to start our Dallas and Fort Worth campuses with an option of in-person starting September 8th. You can continue to do at home. You're going to have to give us a commitment starting August 17th. What we're going to do is we're going to send you a it's called a Sky Alert, but it's an email, and it's going to come from our Trinity Basin. I think we ended up, what did we call it, Dylan? What will the email be from?
It'll say Trinity Basin at schoolmessenger.com.
All right. When you get that one, it's going to ask for you to make a commitment. You will get that on August 17th. The window closes for that. Let me move my screen on August 21st. It's a quick window, and that lets us know numbers of how many students will be coming to us in person and how many will be staying at home. Remember, you will have 2 options for that. All right, go ahead and switch the slide. So this is a wonderful slide that is a picture of a parent guide that we have placed on the internet. And so there's the website address where you can find this parent guide. I have a copy of it here. It's in color and it is on our website. So if you want to copy and paste or put that into your browser right now, you can actually follow along. I'm going to be using this parent guide that we put on our website today to tell you about what's going on with our academic plan. So the very first thing I'd like to kind of go over from this parent guide is that this summer we had guidance that TEA said we were to offer our parents 2 options, and that you get the choice when we start in person September 8th, you get a choice to either keep your students in at-home learning or bring them to our campuses. And so at-home learning is looks similar to our spring, but we've had to put a lot of enhancements into at-home learning. I'm going to go through those specifically with you. In person is the traditional, you come to our campus, you sit in front of our teacher, and we have a wonderful day. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about our new, go ahead and switch to the next slide, because I think the most important piece that parents kind of want to know is what is every day going to look like in at-home learning. And so what we have on the screen right now. All right, it keeps randomly muting me. So either someone's messing with the Zoom, but sorry that it keeps muting me. And I promise my hands are here, so I'm not muting it. This is technology, and I know many of your parents joined in our Zooms when we had them with our students. Some of them were very comedic, that Zoom sometimes mutes you and does stuff like that. So I apologize for randomly being muted right now. All right, so at home learning, we will have some enhancements. We will still use Canvas. Our students will log in daily, and that is a requirement. They must log in daily. And so that sample schedule is just a sample, but this is what you could expect. So every morning by 8:30, all of our campuses, we would like all of our students to sign in to Canvas and participate live with their teacher in a morning meeting. And that's kind of just a check-in. There'll be a discussion post that's on Canvas, and they'll also see their teacher. Then around 9, now remember these times will be different, and I just want everybody to know here that your campus will be reaching out to you and getting your students' schedule to you, whether that's through our Meet the Teacher, through an email. Some of our Meet the Teachers will be drive-through, some are virtual, but you will get your student's schedule that's specifically for your student prior to August 12th. But what I want you guys to know is that we will have multiple logins throughout the day. So around 9 o'clock, that could be different on your campus, your student will be logged into Canvas through our Zoom link. You will have a live lesson they will have a live lesson with their teacher. That lesson lasts anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. Once that mini lesson is over, your student will begin working independently on the activity that aligns with the lesson they just did with their teacher. They do not have to be logged in live when they're working in independent work. And so what happens is while they're working on independent work, they could be working on it with you, they could be working on it on their own. Our teachers and our special programs teachers might be pulling students individually to work with them one-on-one or in small groups, 1-on-4, 1-on-5. And so you'll notice on our sample schedule, that lasts for about an hour, and then we'll have another live session with their teacher or with another teacher, depending on middle school, they switch teachers. Our elementary usually have 1 to 2 teachers. And so again, they'll do a live lesson, and then they'll jump back into that independent work. During the independent work, they do not have to be logged on to Canvas. They can be doing it, whether it's a worksheet or whether it's an activity. Maybe it is on Canvas, but they do not have to be live with their teacher during that time. And so that kind of happens at different checkpoints throughout the day. One thing that we also want you to know is that our teachers have multiple times to have teacher office hours where you can email them. They can jump onto Zoom with your student, even with you if there's questions. And so when you get your student schedule and you get information from your homeroom teacher and your core content teachers, you will see the times that they have office hours to answer questions for your student, give your student feedback, or talk with you and help you with anything that you're having trouble with as your students making their way through their lessons. Also in our plan, that's very important to know is we know that you probably have a lot of questions about at-home learning. And I know at the very end of our presentation today, we're going to kind of go through those questions we have been getting. But in this parent guide, if you go to the website down at the bottom, we have a frequently asked question page that puts some of those questions that we have been getting. The last bullet on this says homeroom teacher communication. And really this could say campus, homeroom, it could say principal, you might hear from your principal, but now that we are finally all back today, you're gonna start hearing from your campuses. And that communication will come through a variety of ways. You will get reminds, you might get teacher emails directly to your email from the teacher. You would get maybe some of our Sky alerts. You're gonna see our Facebook post, and then you might even get personal calls. We have been calling over the last several days, asking if you have a TVP student device, asking if you have internet. I know that we put out our survey a couple weeks ago, and so we were making sure that what you have put on that survey is still how you need it answered today. So if you have not yet heard from your campus, know that today was our first day back. You will be hearing in one of those ways very, very soon. Go ahead and hit the next page. I think it's still me. So as of right now, we would like to begin our in-person option on September 8th. Please always remember you have an option to come in person or you will have an option to stay at home. Remember, we will do, it says election window. That's when we're gonna allow you to make a commitment of which one you would like. That's August 17th. Our COVID-19 safety procedures. I know that's the most important piece that you need to know about before you make the choice to send your student. So our COVID-19 safety procedures, we're gonna talk about them today with our district nurse, but they are also posted on our website, and we are gonna be very thorough with those, communicate those. We'd like to make some videos to show you what our classrooms look like. And so I know that you need that information so that you can make that choice on that window of August 17th through the 20th or 21st, that Friday. We'd like everything kind of commitments made by that date to let us know, are you gonna choose in person or at home? All right. School uniforms. So we've been getting a lot of questions about, are we gonna have to wear our uniforms starting August 12th? We're gonna highly, highly encourage all of our students to wear their uniform. And here's the reason why we're encouraging that. We want your students to get in a routine, to get up, to get their uniform on and get ready for the day. As you start looking at our sample schedule, you see that is a full day of meeting with their teachers, being in small group, working with independent, and we think that by putting on that uniform, getting ready for the day, that will get them in a routine and they will be ready. And in that routine of getting that uniform on, when hopefully we get to start in person September 8th, or whenever you as parent choose to bring them back in person, they'll be in that routine. Now, I said encourage because we are not requiring it. That would be super hard to say that it's required, because we're not going to come to your house and say your students had a dress code. But what we would like to tell you, that if you're not going to put your student in their uniform, we need to make sure they're appropriately dressed. Remember, when they get into our live lessons, there are other students and adults in that classroom, our special programs teacher, our instructional aides. And so we want all of our kids to make sure that they have an appropriate t-shirt and no pajamas and kind of stuff like that. And so some of the things that why we want to go ahead and encourage that now is there's a lot of sales going on. I heard it was tax-free weekend. I think I'm going to go school shopping for my kids this weekend because I haven't done any of that yet. And so we want you to take advantage of those discounts that are out there right now for the uniforms. So something new this year that I'm very excited is that for our girls' uniform, we have added an option for pants, for navy blue pants. So our girls in the past have had their plaid skirts were required with their collared blue shirts, but now we are adding our navy blue pants. So for boys, we're also adding navy blue pants as well. You'll see the pictures of our ties. We have our black socks, we have our black shoes, our belts, and that's still our uniform. The only change this year was the navy blue pants. All right, and go ahead and switch it. All right, we've had a lot of questions about school supplies. One of my favorite things to do besides school clothes shopping is getting those new pencils and crayons. And I know you guys probably, like my kids, they love to get their folders. And so you're asking about what are we doing with school supplies. Our school supply list can be found at all of our campuses, and there's the address for those. And what we want you to do, we are not going to ask for those supplies to be brought in right now. We will not have the students. You will need these supplies at home while they work through at-home learning. Again, take advantage of the sales going on for back to school. You know, sometimes we see the glue for 25 cents and the crayons for much cheaper than they usually are. Go ahead and get those supplies and keep those at home. As we get closer to our in-person option, and when you choose to bring your student back to in-person, we will then say bring in the supplies. So that's school supplies. You do not have to bring them now, but we do suggest you get them. You're going to need them at home. All right, so now, don't forget, will you go back one more, Laura, so I can read the email? Don't forget that if I have not answered any of your questions, and we're going to answer more questions at the end, you always have the parent feedback at trinitybasin.net to send us questions. And now I would love to introduce Dylan Laney, our Executive Director of Information Systems. He's going to kind of review what we've been doing with technology. Take it away, Dylan.
Good evening, everybody. Lengthy title, but as Leslie hinted at, just means I'm part of the technology department. So we're going to go through a couple things with device handout, some internet access discussions, and hopefully a couple helpful points. If you'll go ahead and go to the next slide for me. So hopefully this is not new information. We did send out communication last week. Some of you have probably already seen some reminds from your campus principals for these specific pickup times. But this is for whether you are returning to TBP or you are new to TBP, we have a device for your child. So these are the established times for, if you do not already have one, to come out and pick one up. So I won't go through each of these and bore you with reading each one of those out, but they are there in front of you. We have posted these on Facebook. A newsletter went out last week. And if you haven't gotten one yet, you should be getting a reminder from your principals with these dates and times communicated. Obviously, we do have some of them coming up right away, specifically Ewing and Mesquite students. Theirs is tomorrow. So do pay attention to that. The other campuses do have some more spread out times. If you are an existing TBP parent, you will notice that we are doing device handouts from each individual campus now for your students, whereas back in the spring, it was only from a handful of locations because we just weren't staffed, we weren't ready, but we've made those changes and enhancements and we're ready to be able to serve you at the campus your student goes to, which we think is a lot more convenient for everybody and probably makes things a whole lot easier. Please know that we do ask the students to treat the devices with respect and to be responsible for them. We know that's a super helpful tool for them, and we want to help them take care of it. So in the student handbook this year, we do have a whole section on caring for their device, both iPads and Chromebooks. Your pre-K3, pre-K4, and kindergarten students will all get iPads. First grade and up will all get Chromebooks. We do have sections in the student handbook this year that actually give some helpful tips on caring for the device, like not, setting heavy stuff on it and not leaving it in the sun. So we do try to give some of those things. If you have any questions about caring for the device, best practice things, how to treat it properly, we're happy to help with that. You can email us at helpdesk@trinitybasin.net, and we'll talk a bit more about that in just a minute, but those resources are there. Also, one thing I do just want to mention, we're going to talk about helping you fix device issues and fixing problems with your technology. Please know that these times in front of you for the device pickup, these events aren't geared towards resolving existing issues. So if you already have a device and you're having problems with it, we have a different process for that. For these nights, we're trying to keep as many of our staff dedicated to be able to help our parents and students get in and out quickly and efficiently with the right device. So we're trying to not necessarily have, if you're having an existing issue, come up during these times. Perfect, thank you. So let's talk about those device issues. As we saw with Miss Austin's Zoom recently, right? We know that technology is imperfect. There are issues, things break, they wear down. And we know that's frustrating, especially in the midst of everything else going on and everything you have to deal with, and knowing that glowy metal plastic box in front of you, right, isn't doing what it needs to, so your student can't get on and it's throwing everything off. Those things will happen, unfortunately. We want to be there to respond as quickly as we can and mitigate those issues and resolve those as fast as possible. The best way to do that for everyone is to please email, if you'll back up, thank you, Laura, is to email helpdesk@trinitybasin.net. That will automatically create a ticket for you in our ticket system. Give us a brief description of the problem and your contact information. Some of you may already be familiar. We did that actually in the spring, and we called and worked with individual parents, individual students to go through those issues. Generally, we are going to get back to you within 24 hours. If we don't, we will be right close behind, and we'll work with you to get that knocked out. We do have dedicated on-site support days from 8 to 5 p.m. On Tuesdays, we have staff dedicated just fixing issues at our Ledbetter campus. On Wednesdays, we have dedicated people sitting at Mesquite ready to help you. And on Thursday, we have people sitting at Pafford ready to jump in and assist on issues. Now, we know that not everyone can make it to a dedicated in-person support day. We will work with you to arrange a time to meet at your child's campus and work through whatever that issue is if those days don't work for you. And again, I want to emphasize, we try to fix as many issues as we can. No contact, right? Virtually, remotely. It's a little bit of bias in the technology side of us. We like tech solutions, but seriously though, we try and do that for your child's safety, your safety, our staff safety, and also just convenience. Rather than having to wait to schedule a time and drive up to the campus, most of our issues we can fix completely remotely or just via email through our help desk system. So please, if you have any ongoing issues right now, just send us a quick email to helpdesk@trinitybasin.net, and we will gladly get back to you. You'll get any updates or correspondence on that through email, or if you give us your phone number or other contact information, we may reach out to you that way as well. Last thing on this is that we're here to help, and we're happy to serve. We know that this is a completely different time. We're using technology in very, very different ways and a lot more demanding ways. And issues arise as a result of that. We want to be here to help you and take care of those problems for you. So please don't hesitate to reach out. And then the last thing I wanted to touch on is internet access. We know that that's been a concern for many families. So I wanted to provide a couple resources here real quick. We do have, or Spectrum and Grande Communications are both internet service providers that provide internet at your home. They do have low-cost internet offerings for eligible families. If you've applied and are eligible under the food service program, both Spectrum and Grande Communications, you're considered, automatically eligible for their low cost offerings. They come out, no install fees, and they get you dedicated real internet for you and your household to use. If for some reason one of those offerings does not work for you and you do not have internet at home, please contact your campuses. I know that they have already been making those phone calls and trying to check in with people proactively, but if you have not heard from them and if you do not have internet at home and can't take advantage of these offers, please do give your campus a call. We'd love to talk with you about that and try and work through it together. And I think with that, I will turn it over to our district nurse, Ms. Coleman.
Alrighty. Hi, good evening. My name is Sandra Coleman and I am the district nurse for Trinity Basin. And I'm thrilled to get started with this school year, although we have no idea what it's going to look like. We know it will just be different than any other one we've done. We've gone to a lot of links with the school district to prepare to make our environment as clean and healthy and safe for the staff and the students to be in. Can you go ahead and advance the screen? Okay. First off, in the very beginning of everybody's day, we're asking parents to monitor your child, to check to see if they have a temperature, see if they have a cough, if they've got a runny nose. If they're exhibiting any of the signs of COVID or any other illness that they can pass on to another person, we're asking that you keep them at home. If you do think it is COVID, please contact the school because we're going to want to keep track and see if we have something else going on. We're doing everything out of caution for everybody's safety. We want to come back in September on the 8th, and we'd love to have all of our students back on campus at that time. So as well as you're checking your child at home, we're asking our staff to check themselves. If we're feeling under the weather, if we have a fever or a cough, or we're experiencing any other signs of COVID or any other illness that we can pass on, we're going to stay home as well. Then when we're coming into the building, all of our guidelines that we're following are in coordination with the TEA, which is the Texas Education Agency, and with the Center for Disease Control. So we didn't just come together in a room and decide this was best practice. This is what our guidelines are saying is the best practice. So we're going to have a plan for drop-off to limit the amount of people that you'll come in contact with. When your child comes into the building, we'll ask that they use the hand sanitizer, which is everybody's friend nowadays. And if not hand sanitizer, quick access to one of the restrooms to wash their hands with soap and water. Okay, so getting into our classrooms, if your child is eating breakfast at school, then they'll eat breakfast. I believe at this point we have decided on the cafeteria. But lunches will be served in the classroom. They'll go to the cafeteria, pick up their lunches, and then go back to their classroom, limiting the number of people that they come in contact in the hallways, and then being isolated with their classmates that they're spending the majority of their time with. Okay? So, and then there will be hand sanitizer in the room. There will be made breaks for hand washing, preferably as they head to lunch to pick up their lunch. And then again, after they finished, and of course, anytime they use the restroom, we're definitely going to encourage them to make sure they're washing their hands. And that's another thing, we will be doing instruction in hand washing because a lot of people will get that soap on and run it under the water and run the soap down the drain. We need a good 20-second hand washing session there to make sure that those germs are actually gone. Then during the day, throughout the day, we do have our custodians on every campus, and those custodians will be cleaning all the high contact surface areas, so handrails, doorknobs. If they're in the classroom, the teachers will have access to wipes to wipe down any technology, any shared items. And if they're if there's going to be a time when they're together, then all those surfaces will be cleaned. Any place that's occupied with high frequency is getting cleaned throughout the day. So we're trying to maximize our cleaning to minimize the germs. Each campus, which is really thrilling, has purchased a Clorox 360 cleaning system. You'll see the picture up here on the screen. And this is a disinfecting product that we can go in and spray an entire classroom down. It's a very fine mist, so you wouldn't necessarily even feel it as moisture. It's very fine, and it wraps around all the furniture, all the items, and everything like that. And that has a bacteriostatic property that will trap the germ and not allow it to keep releasing and kill the germ, which is perfect. Clorox has always put out a good product. We're glad that it can help in this situation. And there's one of those on each campus. Then, of course, everybody's going to be requested to wear a face mask. The teachers will also have face shields, because sometimes it's really a lot easier to understand your teacher when you can see her mouth moving and you can see the expression on her face. And generally, she'll be up towards the front of the room, so your student won't have to worry about her being right in front of their desk with that face shield. If they're that close, then she'll have her face mask back on, or he'll have his face mask back on. For our littles, it may not be as easy to keep a face mask on, and we're going to have to work through that one as much as we can. We understand that when you're 3 and 4 and even 5 years old, that maybe wearing a face mask all day will not be the easiest venture we can undertake. So we want to make sure we're doing that. And then something that kind of makes me sad, we are limiting the number of parents and visitors coming to the campus daily. And that's just not that we don't want you here. We'd love everything to go as it had last fall, and we could have everybody on campus for all the events, but we are going to have to limit that this year and to cut down on the spread of germs. Also, when we do have visitors to the campus, you'll be asked a series of screening questions and have temperatures taken. And if any of those check out that possibly you have COVID or any other illness, then you would not be allowed to pass on to campus. We're doing all of this out of the utmost of caution. We're trying to provide a safe environment for our students and for our staff. The classrooms, where it is possible, we don't have exact numbers of how many students are coming back in person and how many will remain virtually learning. But where possible, there will be 6 feet of distancing between the students, and we'll carry that throughout the building. Anytime that we can put that 6 feet of social distance, we're going to ensure that that 6 feet is established. Also, when that's not, of course, everybody will have their face mask on. And then I think I have pretty much caught everything. And if I have not covered something, please go ahead and send in a question and we will get that answered for you.
Sandra, did you talk about the pre-screener that we would like them to do every day?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then the next thing I want to talk about are immunizations. Even though we're not coming back traditionally all at one time, the immunization laws are still intact. You are required to have your child adequately and completely immunized to be on campus. And, you know, if this virus drops down and they say we can all return, if your child is not immunized come that day, we would not be allowed to allow them on campus. Okay? So take this time, check with your primary care physician, get your child in and get those appointments done and get your immunizations caught up or up to date. If you do not have a primary care physician, there's the trinitybasin.com/health website. If you go there, I've given locations for Dallas County as well as for Tarrant County. In Tarrant County right now, the only immunizations they're doing through public health is at Ridgemar Mall, and that is going through till the 11th of September. And it's in their food court area. But again, the flyers are both on that website for the health Trinity Basin Health. If you're concerned that you're not sure if your child is up to date, needs immunizations, we already have the record, feel free to contact your campus clinic aide, and she can look up that record for you. And she can direct you to places that might be closer in your area to get immunizations at. And that is what I have. If you have any concerns, please feel free to reach out to me. I will find you the answer.
Thank you.
Okay, and now we will move on with Juan Lopez, our food service coordinator.
All right, Juan, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing Laura's screen, and then we'll get you ready. Are you ready now for your video, or you want us to let us know?
I can go ahead and share my PowerPoint and then just play the video from here.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing hers, and if you will share yours, Juan.
Of course. Hey, good evening, everyone. Happy to see so many parents come out to our Parent University event. My name is Juan Lopez. I'm the Child Nutrition Coordinator for Trinity Basin Preparatory, and I'm just going to touch on lunch applications and our grab-and-go services that we provide. So every year, a new lunch application is provided or is required for each household. This is so we can find out qualifications for you and your family if you qualify for free reduced lunch or full price. And this can be accessed through our Skyward portal, which is on all our websites. And in a second, I'll walk you guys through a quick process on how to apply online. While in the past, paper applications have been provided, we are pushing parents and encouraging them this year to do everything electronically. Paper applications will still be provided at campuses, so if you guys feel more comfortable with doing them in paper, you guys can stop by a campus and pick them up and turn them in. On this next slide, I have the video ready for you guys to see, because we have had a couple problems with parents applying on Skyward. So I've provided this video for you guys today to kind of walk you through and kind of make sure you guys are accessing the right portal. So here we see the family portal through Skyward. And if you have multiple students who attend, the top left corner on all students, it will give you an option to drop down and you'll select a specific student. Once you select a specific student, it doesn't matter which one because there's one household per family. You'll go ahead and click on the food service tab on the left side, which will then transport you to this food service portal. Once you're here, go ahead and click on the application portal, which if you haven't accessed already, it should give you an option where it says add application. Once you add the application, once you click on add application, it'll take you to a new window. Go ahead and just read the letter to the parents, which just distinguishes all of the information from the National School Lunch Program and what we're providing, including prices for free and, prices for reduced price and full price. Of course, my contact information is on this letter, so if you have any questions or have trouble filling out the application, feel free to contact me. But once you are finished reading this, go ahead and click on the next button on the top right corner. And of course, just make sure you guys really understand what you guys are reading before going on to the next section. There's a couple sections where you have to read and select the continue option before filling out the actual application, and it just gives a rundown on what information is provided, what information is needed on the lunch application. Of course, Trinity Basin Preparatory offers breakfast and lunch. All breakfast provided on campus and through grab-and-go meals is free. And depending on the qualifications that you guys get through the National School Lunch Program, again, reduced price is 40 cents and then full price is $3.10. I know this year looks a little bit different from a food service standpoint, but just as opposed to previous years, but we are providing lunch for all our students at our grab-and-go services at certain locations. We've been doing this since essentially it started back in March, and are continuing through the fall semester. Any student who is attending TVP is eligible to go to the grab and go stations at select locations. Breakfast and lunch are always packaged together on anytime you go, and our service times are Monday through Friday from 7:30 in the morning to 9 a.m. and 11 to 1:30 p.m. For more information on our grab and go services, please check our website at trinitybasin.com/grab and go. You'll have access to different maps on what the correct route to go through each campus is and what locations are available. So please continue checking that website for more updated information. Of course, here's my contact information if at any point you have any questions or concerns regarding food service, the grab and go stations, or lunch applications. We're here to serve you. Please feel free to contact us with any type of question. We do our best to get a quick response to you guys. And obviously our number one concern is feeding children during this unprecedented time. I understand that with at-home learning, at times maybe food and breakfast and lunch is a little difficult to come by with so many mouths to feed during a time where you normally rely on school lunches. So we are here to serve and try our best to feed all our students. And as always, if I didn't answer any questions or you have any other outstanding questions, please, again, email me or email parentfeedback@trinitybasin.net. But now I'll go ahead and let Laura and Julia back into the mix, and they'll answer any other questions that you guys have. Let me go ahead and stop sharing my screen to give it right back to Laura.
All right, I don't think we have to like jump back on because it just says other questions. So Laura, if you want to go ahead, you and Julia, we probably can skip sharing the screen again if you want.
Okay, sure. Okay, so we collected, our parents had a lot of questions, and we gave them the opportunity to send their questions to an email, which is parentfeedback@trinitybasin.net. And we try to cover as many questions as we could in this presentation, but we are going to go over a few other questions that we received from parents. Again, if you still have more questions after this presentation, please send us an email to parentfeedback@trinitybasin.net so that we have an opportunity to get to your question and give you an answer. One of the questions that a parent had is as follows. Since we have the option to change every 6 weeks from at-home learning to in-person learning, how do I know if they will have the same teacher that they did for at-home learning to in-person learning?
Right. So one thing that we've really spoken a lot with our principals and our executive team is that we actually cannot commit to saying that their at-home teacher would be the same one that they have in person. So right now we have our students all rostered to a teacher. So if they're usually our 3rd grade and under, they'll have one teacher, maybe 2. As they get to middle school, they start sharing more and more teachers. So right now they are rostered to a homeroom teacher or a team of teachers, and they will do their at-home learning with that teacher. When you choose, parent, that you want to come back into our schools, it might be a different teacher, but it might be the same. And here's the reason. As we start getting our students back in, and it's going to change every grading period, then we are trying to keep, if you're a teacher and you're at home, we're going to try to keep you at home. Once we start in person, we want in-person teachers. We never want our teachers doing both at home and in person. So that's why that teacher might change, because once they get in, we want that teacher only dedicated to teaching your student and not having to worry about jumping on the internet, getting onto Zoom, teaching another class that's online. And so when you come in person, that's when your teacher might change. It would be our hope that they would then, if you choose to keep them in-person learning for the rest of the year, that's their teacher. But that's why at home to in-person, their teachers might change. And that's really us just preparing for how fluid this situation has to be, because not only do you get a choice every 6 weeks or every grading period, we don't know what's coming. And if at any time we get a full closure order from anyone and we have to go back to at-home learning, that's why we're keeping our teachers fluid like that. We've spoken to all of our teachers, we've spoken to our principals. That's why we wanted to speak to you guys. What we hope is that when the school year starts, that we are introduced to all of our teachers that are in that grade level at that school. Our biggest goal for this program and at home is that we still want to make that connection with you and your student. We know that it's important that they see their teacher. And so we're going to do our best, but it might change. I know it's not the best answer, but it's our answer.
Okay. Another question that a parent had is, what are the plans for mothers who work and do not have a sitter who can log in at a specific time? It's hard as it is to find a sitter, yet alone a sitter who can help my child do their schoolwork.
So I just want to be full transparency with everybody. When I first saw this question, I'm going to let everybody know that was 100% me. My children, of course, like you, went into at-home learning. I worked full-time. I came up here every day, and it was difficult. So I want you to know that as we started making the plans and having these multiple live sessions, that we knew that this was going to put a stressor on our parents, especially those parents who are still continuing to work. So I first wanted to let you know that I 100% feel what you're feeling. It's one of the most difficult things I've done as a mother, as a teacher, as an educator, and as a CAO of trying to balance that. So here's a couple things that I can tell you. The requirements of logging in daily and seeing your teacher and doing these sessions is a requirement of TEA. We have to have those right now. We know that that might be difficult for some of our parents. So as we start coming back into our buildings, I would like for you to share that concern with your homeroom teacher and your campus principals. One thing that we are wanting our parents to know is that if you start having those struggles and you can't do that live session so much because you're working, we are working to create learning labs. And those would be big spaces where we have our students very spread apart in our NPRs, in our gyms, in our libraries, that if you're a parent that doesn't have internet access and that you're a parent that, like, I work and my sitter, just so everyone knows, is my mom, and my mom does not like the computer. So she didn't want to log my son in. And I don't blame her. She's raised her 3 kids and she didn't want to be teacher. So if you're in that situation, tell your campus, and what we hope is to have a learning lab where you can bring them in and we could support them in that at-home learning. What I would like for you to do, if you are sitting in that position, I need you to reach out to your campus principal and speak with them, because we would want to know who those students are coming in for our learning labs. We have protocols. We want to keep them safe. Our food services need to know that they're coming. And so I totally understand that if you're a working mom and you're nervous, but I ask that you reach out to your campus so that you could see if that learning lab was an option for you.
Another question that comes from a parent is there anything that parents with at-home learning students can do to help teachers?
So another favorite question of mine, what can you guys do to help us? Well, keep that connection. Answer our emails. Just email. Once you find who your homeroom teacher is, email them and see if there's anything that they need as they set up their virtual classrooms and their Zooms. I'm going to say this for the spring. Thank you, parents. You guys were so involved and did amazing jobs with your students. So I'm sure there's a ton of things that you could do to help your homeroom teachers or your child's teachers if they have multiple. Always reach out. Campus principals probably have things. There's nothing that came to mind when I saw that question today, but whoever asked it, thank you. I know there's things that you can do. Reach out to your child's homeroom teacher. And the biggest thing is just get your student logged on and email us those questions because we're here for you to answer them and make this the best situation it could be for you guys.
Okay, and we have 3 more questions and then we'll be done. Next question. This is for in-person learning. Will students have to stay in the room the entire day, or are they allowed to leave class to go to PE, art, computer, etc.?
Right. So when we start back, September 8th is what our hope is. We are not planning to keep the students in a room for 8 hours. You guys I have 3, so I'll just go on my 3, but I'm sure your students are like that. That would be very difficult for our students to sit in a classroom all day. We are working on plans of what PE and art would look like. Maybe they're, so for art and like technology, maybe they don't go as much, but PE is still a requirement that they have to have so many minutes a week. So we might have to stagger sometimes, keep them socially distanced, but our plan is to still let them do those classes when we come back in person. We'll do our best to mitigate risk, but we do think that brain breaks and stuff like that for our students is extremely important.
Thank you, Ms. Austin. Next question is, I guess this is pretty similar. Will students eat lunch in the classroom or in the cafeteria?
All right, so when they eat lunch, they're going to go with their classrooms staggered, standing 6 feet apart, and they will grab their lunch and they will head back to their classroom. At the beginning, they will eat in their classrooms. I think that's the safest we feel right now. As we start getting into the school year, and if it becomes safer for us to go into cafeterias and maybe we'll have some other things in place that maybe we can take them back, but we would like to start on the side of caution and keep them in classrooms to eat lunch.
Thank you. We have one more question. This question is going to be for Juan Lopez, our child nutrition coordinator. Do I have to submit a lunch application if my student will not be going to campus?
Absolutely. We are still encouraging parents to submit lunch applications even if they won't be learning or attending in school, just in case that for whatever reason they do decide to utilize our grab and go services. Whatever they qualify for that will be utilized for the grab and go station. So yes, please submit applications through Skyward or in person.
Thank you, Juan. Okay, parents, so this is pretty much all we have for you today. We hope that this information session was very helpful to you all. If you still have questions that we did not cover in this presentation, please send us an email to parentfeedback@trinitybasin.net. I'm not sure if any of our presenters or anyone else would like to say something before we end this meeting.
I would love to. Don't forget that our parent guide was posted on our website today. I think it was Trinity Basin, and then it had the /parent guide. We'll probably put it up one more time. That has a lot of information there. We have a link. We are required to submit this plan to TEA. The parent guide is a condensed version of that plan. If you have the time and if you want to, the TEA plan will be linked on our website. It is a 57-page document that's very, very detailed, and it talks about our special programs. Many of our students are in our special education, ESL, 504, RTI. I know that we had a lot of questions come through of how do I make sure my student still receives the help that they need. We definitely have a very intentional plan of how we plan to provide support and at-home learning. So in that more in-depth plan, there is an appendices just on special programs. So make sure you jump onto our website, find this information. I know that I was super quick in our academic plan today, but everything that we'll be doing, whether it's at home or in person for student learning, is in our parent guide and in that TEA. It's called Asynchronous Plan, and that will be linked on the website as well. Don't forget any questions that you have on it. It's parentfeedback@trinitybasin.net, or reach out to your campus. once you find out who those teachers are, and you'll be finding out soon, I promise. Information will be coming. We just came back today. So we're so excited. I know that this is a very weird time. The first day of school has always been one of my favorites, seeing the kids dressed in their uniforms and have their new shoes. And, you know, one thing I would suggest as a parent, and this is what I'm going to do for mine, on August 12th, get them up, get them excited, get them on their computer, because our teachers are ready to see your kids. So thank you guys so much for choosing Trinity Basin Preparatory.
Also, parents, before we go, I do want to highly recommend that you visit our website, www.trinitybasin.com. There is tons and tons of information there, so please navigate through the website, get familiar, visit the Parents tab. A lot of important information there. Also, if you have Facebook, please follow us on Facebook. We have, you can follow 2 different pages. One is Trinity Basin Preparatory. That is a district-wide Facebook page. And then you can also follow Trinity Basin Preparatory and then your campus name. So if you're from Mesquite, it will be Trinity Basin Preparatory Mesquite Campus, or 10th Street Campus, Pafford Campus, etc. Follow those pages, because principals are always posting information about their campus. Trinity Basin Preparatory as a district is always posting information that is helpful for you all. So I recommend for you to visit our website, follow us on Facebook, and also if you have any ideas or suggestions for our Parent University, Parent University is here to support you parents. So we're always looking for ideas of new events that we can have for parents. If you know any good organizations that can help parents and students, please let us know. You can send us an email to parentuniversity@trinitybasin.net. If you have any questions, anything that we can help you with, send us an email. So again, parentfeedback@trinitybasin.net for any questions that you have for this upcoming year, and then parentuniversity@trinitybasin.net for any upcoming events that you would like for Ms. Gomez and I to provide for you parents. And Ms. Gomez, I don't know if you have anything to say before we finish this meeting.
No, you actually covered what I was going to mention about topics, so thank you, Laura.
Okay.
Parents, thank you so much for joining us. I hope this information was really helpful to you.
Thank you, and we are excited to see all of your babies and kids August 12th next week, okay? Bye.
Bye-bye.
I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. All right, just for our co-hosts, I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye, y'all.